Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to get your website done faster using Nexter's pre-made templates and patterns. So today we're going to show you how to get Nexter's pre-built templates, or I guess you can call them themes, but they're not really themes, layouts and patterns, and how to actually use the patterns as they come with the blocks to make your website building experience a bit easier. So this is assuming that you already have the Nexter theme, the extension, and the blocks already installed. So let's go ahead and we're on our dashboard and enter the Nexter extension. Okay, click on that, and you will find under here, extra options, click on this, more products, and you're going to see W Design Kit. Let's go ahead and install and activate that. And since we already have it installed, we just have to activate it. And we can double check on this. Let's go on the dashboard. Okay, and you can see it's loaded right up over here on our left-hand sidebar. Let's go and click on this. And it's going to take us to the W Design Kit. And you can see there are so many to choose from. Okay, and there's like, what, 9 pages of these page kits. Okay, so let's take a tour of how this all looks like. So we have templates. We can browse templates, right? Take a look at that. It's going to take us over here, right? We can also take a look at widgets. Okay, so we have scroll to the top over here, and these are basically like blocks, and we can take a look at these later on. Okay, and then we have workspace over here, and this is more of a feature to organize everything. Okay, and then your license over here if you have the Pro license, right? So let's go back to templates, and we can search for the kind. So if I searched here for blog, something might come up. Okay, there you go, and these are blog templates, or templates that you could use for your blog. We can type here shop, and if you hit enter, it's going to search, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of templates for shops, right? So maybe we can see, we're going to search for salon, see if anything comes up. There you go, dog grooming, and then here's a beauty salon and spa one. Let's search restaurant, and we'll have a bunch of options for restaurant over here. And you can see that a lot of them have the Pro icon on them. Don't worry about that, because we can just click on free over here in the filters, and it's going to give us a whole bunch of options for what we can choose from. Okay, and you can see here the compatibility of each one. These are all compatible with the Gutenberg block editor, and I'm not sure if we'll even find any that are compatible with Elementor. Okay, probably not. And you can see which plugins come with them, right? So I can disable, or I can select this, right? Disable, 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 and then select the ones that have only the Nexter blocks on them. And you can see that none of them have that. Maybe some of the Pro ones. Okay. Okay, there we go. And we also have tags, so like Elementor. All right, if we selected that, you can see that these ones will probably work with Elementor since this tag works. They probably just haven't added it on there, or maybe because we don't have Elementor installed, this won't be on there. We have page kits, right? And then you can see these are all the other tags, right? So fashion, beauty. These are the ones that they'll suggest. Travel accommodations. These are the ones that they'll suggest. Okay, so let's take a look at the other thing over here. So we have page type. Well, we have type, which are page kits. Okay, and let's go look for a free one. And if we clicked on one of these, right, Campaign Hub, you can see there's reviews and how many downloads and how many people have viewed it to see which are the most popular or which are the most used. And you can see that we have Campaign Hub over here. We can do a live preview of how it'll look like. Okay, and it's going to show us like a bunch of features, what kind of pages there are on there. Okay, and we can click on here, and you can see what pages come with it. Okay, and here it is. Here's how it looks like. All right, just a brief overview, right? We have our team members over here, our blog posts, our testimonials, right? We can go ahead and click on our services and take us to Campaign Hub, our services, and these are going to be all of our options over here, right? And we have our pages coming soon, right? And we can click on this and it's gonna just redirect us because it doesn't work yet. And if we wanted to, we could go ahead and click on this, right? And take us to the same area, I suppose. And we could go back to here and then click on this download button on the right side. Okay, and then we can choose, right? We can choose which items we want to include. So let's go ahead and return here real quick before we actually download that. We can click on sections and we can have sections only. So if I wanted a different header, right, I can download this and I can keep it on a theme builder, right? Alternatively, we can have full pages. So if I wanted, all right, so these are free. If I wanted just a single page, right? So if I wanted the home page of this one, but then wanted the coming soon page or the contact us form from this one, I can go ahead and do that. But for this video, let's keep it simple. Let's go ahead and download an entire one, right? And let's download this. And let's select all. And let's click on download. So it's going to download 11 pages. It's going to ask us where we want to put all of these. Okay. Just keep that on default for now. Okay. And click on next. Let's go ahead and click on global style. Let's click on next. And we can add these and add these. Okay, and that's going to change our customizer settings, right? Just add these so that it becomes exactly how it looks like as it was uploaded. Let's click on update settings. Okay, it's going to take a while. Okay, with that done, let's click on import, right? And it's going to take a while for all of these loads. I'll close these ones up, and then once this is done, we'll get back to you and we'll show you the live site. All right, so all of these have been successfully imported. Let's go ahead and enter our live site, and you're going to see that our website is still on the something else, right? The content is something else. So what gives, right? We have our Campaign Hub header and footer over here, but our content is very different. If we were to click on over here, these don't work because we haven't set these up yet, right? So let's go back over to our dashboard over here, and let's figure this out. So earlier you saw that it was still our portfolio website from another video. Let's go ahead and go under Nextr extension and then theme builder, and then let's go ahead and disable these other ones, right? You can see front page. Let's disable that, and let's go ahead and view our site and see if that changes anything. Okay, and you can see now the home page is different, but it's still one of the placeholder ones. So let's figure out how to sort this out. Keep in mind that if you're starting from a completely blank page, completely blank site, you won't have to worry about this. But if you already tried to make a website from scratch, but you weren't satisfied with it, and you wanted to use the templates and just customize those, there's no problem with that. Right, you can see your home page, which is what this is selected as our front page. So let's go and look for landing page. Okay, let's click on edit, right? And then you can see that this is how it's supposed to look like, right? What we saw earlier in the preview. Let's go on settings, and let's click on over here, and let's set this as our home page, and click on set home page. Alternatively, you could have imported this as as part of the theme builder and then just selected it from there. Let's go ahead and click on save. Okay, and that's going to save, and let's reload our site. Okay, now you can see that it actually looks like how it's supposed to, right? So we have our contact form over here. We have all of these buttons over here. If we clicked on these, it'll take us to the W Design Kit website, right? What if we actually wanted to link over here? I'll click on this and nothing's actually happening, right? If I clicked on this, it might take us again, okay, to the template website, because that's where the link of this was set to, right? Recent news, it's going to take us back to our homepage because these aren't set up yet. Okay, so before we customize everything, let's have a quick look again at what we're working with. So once we imported everything, you see Campaign Hub over here, they're clearly marked as what is part of it. These are all linked into your actual site. So if I clicked on our blog and I clicked on View, you will see that it's under our URL, under our domain, and this is how our blog looks like. Okay. How about our Nextr theme builder? And you've seen a while ago that they're all clearly marked again as header, footer, blog details, right? And these are the templates for how all of these will work. Now, what if we, as an example, before we actually start changing everything, what if we wanted to change up our header, okay, using a pre-built template? Let's go under W Design Kit again. Okay, and this is just a simple example. Let's search for free and then sections. Okay, let's use let's use the header from this one. Let's click on download that, and we're gonna save it to the theme builder. Okay, standard style. Okay, just to keep the typography. Okay, it's gonna import it, it's gonna download it, and then it's gonna install it. Okay, it's successfully imported. Let's reload our site and see if anything changed. Okay, so both of these are now active. What if we went into our Nextr extension under the theme builder, and you can see that it's activated, and so is this. So if I wanted to use just this one, let's go ahead and disable this, reload this, and now you can see we have a completely different header that we just downloaded straight from W Design Kit from Nextr's pre-built template. So what if I didn't want to use this footer? Let's go ahead and disable this. Let's reload that. And you can see we don't have a footer anymore on our website, just this header. Okay. So let's start customizing things one by one. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the header and then work our way down and go through each of the individual pages. So the biggest concern we have here is, well, one, personalizing it. We want to get rid of this logo over here. And next, we actually want to link in all of these other items, right? So let's start off by going to our theme builder, right? Under header, the Revita header template, let's click on edit, or we can export it, or we can duplicate it, right? We can click on edit, okay? And now let's go ahead and change some things up. So we don't want to use this logo. So all we have to do, and we don't really have to change anything with this. And let's take a look at the container, right? We have image, navigation menu. You can change the space, you can change the background colors, but let's not worry about that right now. We have other videos on that. Let's go ahead and click on replace image. And here we go. Here's our logo. Let's center that and let's make it the thumbnail. Perfect. And you can see the link over here. We can either just disable that, or we can go ahead and click on, well, insert our own. And that's good. Now let's go over to the navigation menu, and you can see that we have the manual menu over here. So if you have Nextr Pro, you can just use the default WordPress menus, and it's automatically going to change. But let's stick with the manual menu over here. We can make it vertical if we wanted to. Home, what link is it going to take us to? We want it to take us to website assets. Let's go ahead and enter our dashboard real quick. And we're going to take the URLs for each one of our other pages. So pages, all pages, about us. Okay, we're going to view that. And again, we can change this URL by changing the title over here. But let's not worry about it. About us. There you go. Oops. And let's close this. And we're going to go through each one of these one by one. So we have our services. View that one. And if you didn't want to copy paste these, you can go ahead and just type services, and it should, there you go, page, our services, click on that, and it should take us to exactly the same one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, but you can see that it automatically changes the menu text, right? So our services, we can change, there we go, pages, and that's fine. We have a submenu over here, right under pages, appointment, and we don't have any of those, do we? And we can just go ahead and go to contact us, and let's go ahead and put the page over here. And what other pages do we have here? We have our landing page and then our blog. So pages over here, blog listing. So let's go ahead and put here, sure, our blog. Okay, that's going to be the page, our blog, and we have service details. Let's see how that one looks like. Service details is going to be, okay, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and change this to service details, right? So let's go ahead and remove appointment, and then let's change this to service details. Okay, and it's going to change over here. Oh, and then contact us, we have to change this again. Contact us, and then pages, if you clicked on that, service details, services details. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and click on save. And let's reload our front end over here. You can see it's website assets. Let's reload this. And you can see we've completely changed, well, we've customized our header to actually work. So if I clicked on that, it's going to take us again to our home page. Right click on this, it's going to take us home. About us is going to take us to about us. Our services, and then our pages are going to take us to our blog. Oops. Right. And we can put services details over here, and everything works out just fine. Okay. So that's editing our header and footer and 404 page, right? So some of these you might need to edit them in the theme builder because of how they're imported, right? As I mentioned earlier, you might want to put your home page over here so you can enable or disable it. And you can change the displaying conditions over here. And let's talk about customizing our individual pages, right? So let's visit the site again. And you can see over here we have this image here, and then these buttons over here, right? Let's go ahead and either click on edit page over here, or we can go over to pages, and then under landing page, click on edit. Now let's go over to our blog. Let's view that. And let's look at this over here. Okay, we're going to keep this just for link purposes. Don't mind those. And here we have everything we need. So all you have to do now is, well, you can change how this looks like, right? You can change what the text says. So okay. And then if we wanted to, we can change the typography over here. We can change the separator color, right? Make it red. We can change the image over here. Let's replace the image with something else. Okay. Let's change it with, is this big enough? No, that's too small. Let's change it with this one. Okay, welcome to website assets. And then we can explore now. If you click on this, it doesn't have any links on it. So let's go ahead and change this to our services. Okay. And then for recent news, let's use our blog. Okay. And we can change the colors and the typography of everything. We can change all of these. And if we went over here, right, document overview, you can see how each one of these works. right? So if I wanted this about us to stay there, yeah, let's keep that on there. If I wanted to remove our blog from here, right, I can just go ahead and delete that, right? Testimonial of this contact us area, I can just go ahead and delete that. And let's click on save, and you can edit what these ones all say too. Well, let's not talk about that for brevity's sake. And let's go ahead and reload our site. Okay, there you go. We've already changed so much aspects of the site just by clicking and just typing in some other things in place of them and just clicking on them and replacing the images. And if you have a basic understanding of how WordPress blocks work in Pages and the Gutenberg editor, then you will have no problem turning this website into your own. So you're always free to drag and drop these. So if I wanted to put our team right after, right, I can put that right down here, and our team, and about us, I can put our blog, or whatever this one was, right, our testimonials right after about us, and then our services over here. Okay, so I'll save that. Let's reload the site again. And you can see that our team comes up over here and all of that jazz. Okay, so why should you need to start from scratch? Well, there's a few valid reasons, such as determining exactly what you need. Like if you know what you want, or if you want something really simple, you can go ahead and use that. But what gives you a head start with Nexttr's starter templates or patterns, pre-built patterns, is that you have all of these containers, right? And you have all of these elements, and you can see how they're set up. Okay, we could, if we wanted to, we could go ahead and create a pattern with this, right? So we'll put this as homepage hero pattern, right? And let's click on add, right? So this entire block is now going to be a pattern. And if I made a new page over here, and I called it simple homepage, for example, technically we'd be starting from scratch. However, right, we can either import our templates from here, right? So we can we can import a full page over here, and we can go ahead and select which one we want, and we can base it off of that, and it doesn't have to be preset, right? Or we can either search for sections if you wanted to. So if I wanted to put header or a hero area over here, I could do that. Right, single templates. Alternatively, if I just wanted to select certain areas that aren't listed over there, I can search for patterns over here, or like my patterns. There we go. Homepage hero pattern. If I clicked on that, this will appear, and we can publish that, and then we can view the site, right? View the page, that is, and you can see we have basically what we saved earlier, right? And we don't have the extra fluff that we didn't need to use. So besides being easy to use, and you can just save and snip off what you need, you can go ahead and analyze here on the container layout how these are all set up. So if you wanted to copy it yourself, or if you wanted to make tweaks, you could copy this or edit it yourself, right? So let's go ahead and close this, and let's go back to our editing this page. Let's go ahead and put in a, let's see, paragraph. Is that one of these that would use it? There we go. We can either use a paragraph from scratch, right? And then let's have our options over here. And this is how it's going to appear by default each time we drag and drop one in. Now, if we selected pre-designed template, it's going to bring up all these other templates that are paragraph templates. And let's go ahead and go with this one. Let's click on download. And now it's already imported over here. So rather, okay, let's close this up. Rather than having to well, these are set by default. So let's go over here to layout. You can see the title over here by default is heading 3, right? And we have that preset in our customizer options. Again, you can change how it appears by default, and we'll show you that in a bit. But you can always change it manually, and then you'll have to type things here. Okay, and this is how it's going to appear. And, of course, you're always free to change how this looks like, and you can change how many columns there are and everything. Right, I'll Control Z that. And this is how it's going to look like by default, and again, you can always customize it how you want. Now, since we downloaded this one, since we imported this one, we have our paragraph over here, right? And we can take a look at our document overview. It's not actually just a paragraph, it's a container with a paragraph over here. It gives us this title and gives us this other paragraph over here where we can go ahead and customize each one. So as you can see, we have 2 columns over here, and then this one, you see there's no columns. We're only using this as the title area. So and then over here, we can go ahead and paste these in, right? We can change how these are all laid out. We can change the tag for what it's supposed to look like. We can change the style, right? So we can change the color over here, something a bit easier to read, like dark blue probably. And then we can change our typography over here from something that's whatever that is to Arial or Helvetica. And it might not always display right away in the same way. So let's go ahead and click on Save. And then take a look at our page over here. So again, we just copied this and turned this into a pattern. Save that, and you can see that this is now completely different. Okay? And sometimes it might not exactly save, but that's fine. And sometimes it might override when we go into our customizer and select the global settings. Okay, so what other things can we import over here? There are a whole bunch. Probably block code. Let's see if that has one. There you go. Import pre-designed template. It's going to automatically apply the filter. So block quote. Let's import this one. Oops, view demo. Let's import this one. And let's take a look at how the default one looks like after it's done importing. Okay, so there you go. And then let's design this from scratch. And you can see this is how the default one looks like. And it's so boring. And, again, you can customize how it looks like between the 2 styles, right? And it gives you the prompt over here. Over here, you can see it isn't actually just a block quote. There's a block quote block over here. And we can change the button over here, right? For a link to that. And we can go ahead and change it to this style and then put the author over here. And there's a background on this. There's text typography. Let's go ahead and click on Save. And, rather than having the boring one over here, we have this real cool one that we just imported. So if you don't want to waste your time customizing it how you liked, and you just want you like the look of this, you just wanted to change some colors, I guess, and you don't want to have the trouble of laying everything out in a container and have the button over there, it's as simple as that. So let's reload our simple sample homepage. Right, we have our homepage over here, and we have our custom block code over there and the default block code over here. And feel free to explore every single one, as they probably have their own patterns. Right, so we can put sections over here, and you'll see all of the sections that we can choose from. So, right, so we have services, forms, creative ones. Right, and then if you can see that they're not available, so if you probably went on Pro, there may be something, right? So if there aren't any, let's go ahead and just call calls to action and pop-ups, and there aren't anything available. So again, let's go ahead and click on sections, and you can see these are the available ones. Okay. Now, last but not least, let's go ahead and enter the WordPress customizer just to set some things up by default. Okay, let's leave this, close all of these, and tidy things up. Okay, we'll keep that on there. Right, we can either go on our site and click on Customize, or we can go from the dashboard and then go down to Appearance and click on Customize. And then here is where you will find your default WordPress design. So here's our front page, right? We have general, we have styling colors, and we can change each one of these by default. So as you saw earlier, this is, for the title, this is heading 1. So heading 1 is color blue, as you can see. Let's go ahead and change this to red, and let's change our typography over here, right? Body heading 1. Let's change this to whatever that is. We can change the font size and everything. And keep in mind, these are global settings. So every single thing that's marked as heading 1 will appear as whatever this is, unless we manually change it in our typography settings over here, right? So let's go and click on Save, right? And let's reload this and see how this looks like. Okay, and there you see that the font has changed and the color has changed as well. And if we were to reload our site over here, the same thing will appear because this is marked as heading 1. But again, because this is global, if we wanted to override it, let's go ahead and go under Style, Typography. Let's change it to Times New Roman. Oops. Well, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. For title, Times New Roman. Oopsies. We selected mobile over there. Okay, typography, Times New Roman. Let's change the color to dark green. Click on Save, and then let's reload our site. And you can see that our typography over here has now changed. Okay, so it overrides whatever this is. So if I wanted to make a default one over here, right? So if I wanted to put paragraph and then start it from scratch, you'll see that this is default. If I changed our title to H1, paragraph, title to H1, it's going to be the default one. Okay. So there you have it. This is a quick overview on how to install, download, and start using the Nexter pre-built starter templates or patterns or whatever you want to call it to make a very simple, very beautiful website. And all you have to do is just replace the text, replace the images, change the colors and typography. And of course, if you don't import all of the fonts and typography that comes with it, you're going to have to customize all of these in your customizer for your headings and global colors. So those are just global, and again, we've shown you that you can override all of those. So if you don't want to worry about having to start and build headers from scratch, you don't want to have to start build these calls to action and hero sections and testimonial sections from scratch, this is a great way to get started and just download everything, click on things, replace them, and you'll be ahead of everyone else. Okay, so if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nexter where you can get the Nexter blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio. We recommend getting the studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks. So you don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.